I'm here in Fairchild Tropical Gardens. The topic of this video is a historic landmark and that is of cultural importance to the Miami area. I'm here in Fairchild. I am at one of the biggest trees here. The thesis statement is that Fairchild Tropical Botanical Gardens is one of the more important historic/cultural sites in the Miami area. Alright, its main purpose is conservation and the preservation of primarily botanical and tropical plants. So plants in general. As you can see, it was very successful in that. Again, it's another shot of one of the biggest trees there. Alright, so Fairchild, this is another beautiful area of it. Got a whole forest over there. Haven't gone in yet, but we'll go in soon. Over there, we got some exotic plants in that area. Now, Fairchild Tropical Botanical Garden is a cultural and historical gem in Miami. It was established in 1938 and was named after David Fairchild, who was a huge plant explorer at the time, and he introduced thousands of different plant species to the United States. The garden itself, however, was founded by Robert H. Montgomery, who was another plant enthusiast. Not actually a plant scientist, just a plant enthusiast. And he wanted to build a space dedicated to tropical plant conservation and education. And I'm sure, as you can see, he has very much succeeded in that. Fairchild is huge on the education. It's got a bunch of education programs in it. And it is huge on, conservation. It has a bunch of endangered plants here that you won't find in a lot of other... Okay, I am here in Fairchild Tropical Garden, obviously. I'm not in any specific area in the garden. Got some ducks there. I'm just relaxing because I've been walking around in the sun for an hour. Anyways, so as you can see, it's not very busy. You have one person over there just kind of walking around. There's a few people in the group over there. Now, the significance of this area is that, it's a hub for conservation, education, and community engagement. It's got one of the largest collections of tropical plants in the US and in the world. It's got palms, syads, flowering trees, and plays a crucial role in preserving biodiversity in this area. It also hosts annual festivals celebrating tropical plants, like you've got the International Orchid Festival, or no, just the Orchid Festival, which attracts visitors from around the world, and it highlights their commitment to cultural exchange and the appreciation of global plant diversity. As you can see, while Fairchild is generally very empty, you can still see some people over there interacting with the space. There's not a whole lot of interaction to do. You mostly just walk around and enjoy the nature. Now, in terms of historical background, let me zoom out. In terms of historical background, Fairchild's contributions to botany are Dr. Fairchild's, not, well, I guess, and thing as well. Fairchild's contributions to botany were, very important in shaping this garden's mission. His travel introduced mangoes, alfalfa, nectarines, dates, and cherry trees to the United States, which is a lot more impactful than you think for the first time. I mean, most of those things are still in the US today and are still grown in the US today. The design of the garden was made by a man named William Lehman Phillips, who is an architect and known for his work in South Florida specifically. Obviously, as you can see, he very much emphasizes the open spaces, the winding paths, and, you know, groupings of diverse plants. You have plants from all over the world in this place, and as you can see, there's actually quite a bit of water as well, which fits very well into the South Florida ecosystem. You have some crocodiles, sorry, not crocodiles, you have gators here, you got some turtles, you got fish, ducks and such. And that all helps with the biodiversity, of course. I'm over here in one of the more secluded part of the garden. So, the modern impact of Fairchild so far is that it continues to be a leader in plant conservation and education. They actually have a partnership with Biotech High School where students from that school can come here to internship and expand on their knowledge of botany, and if they want to specialize in that field, you know, we've got internships, we've got a bunch of field trips here, we even have classes here. So yes, it's a very large learning center, especially in Miami. And it is, of course, you know, a cultural landmark. It's been here for around 80 years now, since, you know, 1938. Yeah, around 80 years. And it's it plays a critical role in conservation. Rare and endangered species. They do actually recently have been doing some hybrid species, of which they have one outside of their staff office. And you know, they maintain a seed bank to store and study plant seeds, ensuring their survival, much like the seed bank we have in Antarctica, just on a smaller scale. They conduct experimental trials to determine storage methods. They have butterfly gardens, of course. I'm sure you've heard of the Million Orchid Project, which aims to reintroduce 1 million native orchids into South Florida's urban landscapes. Historically, South Florida was very rich in these orchids, but overharvesting in the 1800s led to their near extinction. Fairchild has successfully planted over 700,000 orchids and planted them in public spaces, schools, and hospitals. I'm here at the Fairchild Amphitheater, which you can see over there. And, no. Alright. Fairchild's conservation team, since the 1980s, has been actively involved in monitoring, researching, and growing native species to prevent extinction. They have successfully reintroduced 26 species into the wild through 88 reintroduction projects since 1991. They also work with the local community through programs like Connect Through Protect, which encourages homeowners and schools to plant native species to restore fragmented ecosystems. And some examples of this would be schools in South Florida planting slash pine, which is native and unfortunately endangered, or planting orchids, which are native and fortunately no longer endangered. The garden is also more of a living laboratory to offer research opportunities to students and scientists alike. Okay, so could you just give me some of the points that make Fairchild unique among other botanical gardens and such?
Sure, absolutely. So Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden is 83 acres, and what makes us unique is that we're able to keep full tropical species outdoors year-round that other botanic gardens can't do because of their geographic location.
All right, and can you just give us some examples of how people tend to use the space around here?
Absolutely. We have three key parts to what we do. The first is that we're a botanical showcase, so we are a living museum. People come here to kind of see the science of Fairchild and see what sort of stuff we can keep outside. They can see larger versions of tropical species that they wouldn't be able to see unless they travel to those home countries. And then people, of course, come here to be educated as well. We have classes here, we have field trips here. We have the local community that comes to visit, as well as people from all over the world that come to learn about what we can offer here. And then, of course, people just come to visit. They want to come outside and see something pretty. They want to see nature. They want to just have the nice breeze in their face, and just kind of experience being outside. It's an event venue as well, so people come here as like the hot spot of Miami.
Okay, thank you. And how would you say that Fairchild shows a different side to Miami as a city?
I'm glad you asked that. We have this initiative called City in a Garden, or Miami My Garden, which is to encourage the urban greening project, essentially. As people tend to expand and they build more buildings and stuff, it takes away a lot of the wild areas. And with that, there's something called the urban heat island effect, which means that it's getting hotter in your local cityscapes. When there's just nothing but concrete, it's very, very hot. There's no heat mitigation. And so by showing people that you can, in fact, have lots of green things all around you, not just in an 83-acre botanic garden, but a lot of the stuff we grow here, you can grow in your backyard, on your patio, on your balcony, showing people that you can also have a garden of your own.
Okay, and just one last one. How would you okay, hold on one sec. So, are there any like businesses here and stuff like that?
How do you mean?
So, how would you say the architecture affects this area? Like, more or less how it was built.
Like how was it currently or in the past?
Just currently.
I mean, we have a lot of original structures. Do you mean like physical, like the buildings themselves?
Yes, physical
okay.
like the buildings.
I mean, we're right on the coast, so we do have to kind of change things every so often. We're vulnerable to hurricanes, and we're an ever-expanding kind of place, so we do work with local places to build new things. We do like the original kind of layout of the garden. It was designed by a very famous landscape architect. The buildings have a lot of the original limestone and blue light. But then we have a state-of-the-art science village, it's our lab space, and we have several different labs where we do scientific research. We have our butterfly conservatory that was built in 2012, and that is very cool. It was designed by someone on site, and it's meant to withstand up to, I believe, Category 3 hurricane winds. Our garden house has changed over time. Our event spaces have changed over time. And I work in a building called the Innovation Studio, which was built during the pandemic, which is the only maker space in any botanic garden. So we can 3D print and laser cut and do all sorts of really cool things that people don't associate with botany.
All right.
Ay, perdón, te arruiné la filmación.
Alright, I am leaving Fairchild now. This is my conclusion. As I've stated before, Fairchild's a hub for conservation and education, especially in the botany department and horticulture and such. It's a beautiful place. It shows a very different side to Miami. You know, you usually think of Miami as a giant bustling city, but this shows, a much more a natural side to it, very demure side to it. And yeah, it's a very beautiful place. Very recommend you go here.